What's up, Totem Pole Nation, and welcome back to the Recruiting Trail. This is episode 34, the Auburn Tigers. Thank you to Sideline Sports Network, as always, for the platform. All data today that I will be giving you guys comes from 24/7 Sports. So if you have any recruits, commits, or targets that you'd like to see highlighted that are ranked higher on other recruiting sites, let me know in the comments. We'll get to you. And I appreciate the engagement. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe as always. And if you want some merch, like this hoodie, like that t-shirt, like that hat, like this hat, it's at totempolenation.com. It's in the ticker below. Let's get into Auburn.
Okay. Auburn is under second-year head coach in Hugh Freeze, which next season will be his second year. They hired him this year. They finished 6-6. Obviously, Auburn had a chance to be Alabama. Oh, well. Well, they're currently ranked number 17th in recruiting right now. 18 commits, 1 5-star, 12 4-stars, and 5 3-stars. How good will Auburn be going forward? Go right ahead and get started.
All right. So as you can see here, they're the 9th ranked class in the SEC, which is not where you want to be, especially with, the SEC expanding, adding, competitive teams. You don't want to be middle to bottom of the pack when it comes to recruiting, especially, we just went over Bama a few minutes ago. They're 4th in the country. Let me get into their depth chart notes a little bit here. So quarterback Peyton Thorne does have one more year of eligibility. He expressed before the season that he had interest in declaring after this year if it went well. I don't know if it went well enough for him to, want to put his name in there in a really, really good quarterback class. So the best bet is that he sticks around. The QB room, it does have depth behind him, but in the circumstance that they're in as a middle of the pack SEC team, any quarterback depth that you add is going to be useful when it comes to, iron sharpening iron. You need to, get the best guy on the field. More options is always better. Wide receiver room is led by guys who have years of eligibility remaining as well. The depth behind them is older, though. Like, they start younger guys and have their depth behind. So it would be nice to see some depth added there with, the loss of a few backup receivers. The O-line depth behind the starters is pretty scarce. They need to beef up that room for sure. And that's not, an Auburn exclusive thing. If you're in the SEC, if you're in the Big Ten, it's physical football. It is one in the trenches on offense and defense. So any offensive inefficiencies can normally be tracked back to the offensive line, with the exception of a few teams. So it's not an Auburn exclusive thing, but Auburn definitely needs to beef up that O-line. The running back room is led by a stud in Jarquez Hunter, who should be returning next year. But I wouldn't be surprised if he put his name in the hat to be drafted. But my assumption is that he'll be back. He's a beast at the running back spot. The defense is, most likely losing some guys to the NFL this year. D lineman Justin Rogers could declare, and 2 D linemen have already entered the transfer portal as well. 4 DBs, DJ James, Jalen Simpson, Nehemiah, Pritchett, and Keontae Scott will all be in the NFL at some capacity next year. They, will be in the draft. So those are, the notes and positions of need. Let's get into their top 5 commits. That starts with a 5-star wide receiver, Perry Thompson, 6'3", 202 from Foley High School in Foley, Alabama. He's the 23rd ranked player nationally, the 6th ranked wide receiver, and the 3rd player in the state of Alabama. He was on the Alabama-Mississippi All-Star Game roster, as well as a really good basketball player and track athlete as well. Obviously, you're one of the best receivers in the country. You've probably got some speed behind you. Perry Thompson is no exception there. Next up is a 4-star edge, Jamonta Waller, 6'2", 225 from Picayune Memorial High School in Picayune, Mississippi. 48th ranked player nationally, the 5th ranked edge, and the 1st player in the state of Mississippi. He was also on that Alabama-Mississippi All-Star Game roster. obviously on the other side. But he's one of the best players from these two states, obviously the best player in Mississippi and a great addition to this D-line. Next up is a 4-star linebacker, DeMarcus Riddick, 6'2", 212 from Chilton County High School in Clanton, Alabama. 52nd ranked player nationally, the fifth ranked linebacker, and the 5th player in the state of Alabama. He's listed as an athlete, but ranked as a linebacker. So, he does play a little bit on the offensive side as, a running back. He can also catch some balls, but his primary job and what he will be doing at the next level at Auburn is the linebacker spot. He was on the All-American Bowl roster as well. The number 4 recruit that they have is a 4-star quarterback in Walker White, 6'3", 215 from Little Rock Christian Academy in Little Rock, Arkansas. He's the 101st ranked player nationally, the 8th ranked QB, and the 3rd ranked player from the state of Arkansas. He's not the most accurate thrower. He throws around, high 50s percentage-wise, but he does have a good touchdown interception ratio, 26-10, 2.6-1 is a good ratio there, and is a beast of a runner as well. He rushed for 890 yards and 16 touchdowns last year. So counting them up, that's 42 total touchdowns last year from this guy, which is part of the reason why he was a member of the 24/7 Sports 2023 Freaks list, which is just as it sounds. It's a list highlighting athletic freaks in the high school football realm across the country. Deservedly so, he's on that list. Rounding out their top 5, 4-star edge Joseph Phillips, 6'2", 250 from Booker T. Washington High School in Tuskegee, Alabama. He's the 121st ranked player nationally, the 9th ranked edge, and the 10th player in the state of Alabama. He finished his junior season with 75 tackles, 19 of those being for loss, 9 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, 4 fumble recoveries, and 1 defensive touchdown. And then on the offensive side of the ball, this is the crazy part. He's not even listed as an athlete. He's going to be an edge at the next level. He also caught 6 touchdowns last year on 30 catches with 340 yards. So the dude's just an all-around athlete, and he will be playing at the edge. But when your edge rusher has the capability of being an effective receiver, you've got an athlete on your hands. So getting out of that, let's just get to the overall look. They have 10 commits from Alabama, which is, if you watched the Alabama recruiting video, very similar. And they have focused on their footprint in the South. That's where they're recruiting the most of their guys from. Their top 4 commits are all top 5 in their states, and 10 of their 18 commits are top 15 in their respective states. So, like I mentioned, if you watch that Bama video, you can see that there isn't too much of a difference at the top end between the Bama recruiting class and this Auburn recruiting class. The difference is the depth in the class. Once you get past, your 10th best recruit, is it just a load of mid-level 3-stars, which in this case it is. In Bama's case, they had some higher-end guys that you could see get the push. But the reason I bring up Alabama in an Auburn video is because this season wasn't, exactly what Hugh probably drew up when he took the job and was expecting his first year at Auburn. I will say it is not going to be negatively impacted by this class. So clearly transfer portal is huge. You've already lost 2 D linemen to the portal, but I will say that the way that the top end of this talent or the top end talent of this class looks, it's really not that different from what Bama's got going on their side of the recruiting trail as well. So if you're an Auburn fan, have faith. I feel like Hugh has y'all going in the right direction. I'm just now noticing that my screen is frozen with me in a pretty funny position. That's basically all I have for the Auburn Tigers recruiting video. Lambo, you can take it away, and I will try to fix my computer.
The only last thing that I had to say about Auburn is when he mentioned Peyton Thorne, obviously a former Michigan State quarterback as well before he transferred. Obviously, you mentioned the recruits. You mentioned Walker White and the QB position. I didn't think Peyton Thorne was all that good anyway. Just looking at his past season at Auburn going 6-6, And Matt Pat mentioned he could possibly declare, but it's too many good quarterbacks. He had 15 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, completion rate was 62%, and he only passed for 1,061 yards, which was basically maybe his career low since the COVID year, obviously. And I get it, he played in 2 different systems, but when it comes to Hugh Freeze and him being a former Liberty coach, I think in order for Auburn to be efficient, they had to have one of the best quarterbacks. So don't be surprised if Peyton Thorne and Walker White get into a little QB battle heading to next season. Because like you said, they're 9th in the SEC in recruiting. And I get there's top dogs in there, but when you're 9th in the SEC in recruiting, it's not very good. And it comes down to basically quarterback play. The quarterback play was very inconsistent. I understand it's his first year, but do not be surprised if Walker White gets the starting job or he's someone competes to get the job over Peyton Thorne. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Totem Pole Nation. Get your merch at TotemPoleNation.com. This is a recruiting trail. Next episode, we're going to episode 35. We'll be talking about the Wisconsin Badgers. This is the recruiting trail. We will catch